Today I'm going to go through how I update to a new template in Qubes OS, or at least the way I do it. On the Qubes OS website, they have announced end of life for Fedora 34, and they've announced availability. So there's the Fedora 34 end of life, and they've announced availability of the Fedora 36 templates. Today I tried to update to the Fedora 36 templates, and using the Qubes DOM0 update keeps complaining that those are not available. I suspect the repositories are going to catch up with the new templates in a day or two, but I'm going to update this machine to the Fedora 35 template since it's still on 34, which is end of life, and the Fedora 35 templates are supported until as of June 2022, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to talk about an outline of how I do the update, and then I'll run the update with some additional commentary, and I'll pause the video for some of the pieces that take a very long time. So when I see that there is a new template available, this is a general outline of how I do things. First, I run all the updates. So, you know, as you can see, there are things that still need updates. I want to avoid any, dependency problems or anything like that. I download the new template and let it install. Installation instructions still say to use Qubes 0 DOM update rather than the newer Qubes template command. So I still use that as they expect this is the way to update. The new template is big and it's going to take some time, and I'll pause it while it downloads. It's 1 point something gigabytes. It is not uncommon for the download of the template to fail, so I might have to run it multiple times, and you might have to run it multiple times. Basically, we open a DOM0 window and issue the command Qubes DOM0 update Qubes template Fedora 35. Once it downloads and installs, I switch everything over from that is not running to Fedora 34 and from Fedora 34 to Fedora 35. I shut down sysnet and sysfirewall and switch those over. There's two things that require a bit of attention. They have complications. First is creating the Fedora 35 DVM, and the second is updating sys-usb. The Fedora 34 DVM, I clone it, rename it to Fedora 35 DVM, and then change its template dependency to Fedora 35. sys-usb, since I'm using the keyboard and mouse, I need to update these in a short script, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Then I usually reboot and make sure everything comes up on the new template. So here we go. So if we watch the installation instructions, it gives you installing to install a specific template that is not currently installed in your system. You want to do this in DOM0. So we open a DOM0 terminal window, and we do sudo Qubes DOM0 update Qubes template Fedora 35, and you see that command now redirects to the QVM template installer. I was really hoping to go straight to 36, but it's okay. We'll do 35 for now. So now, this is going to take a bit. So I'm going to pause the recording while it runs. While this template is downloading, I'm going to run all the updates like I talked about. So I'll go through, this is the DOM0 update. I have CentOS 7 on this machine. I'll put all the latest updates, although there won't be much. 34, Honex, and Debian 11. I'll run all those updates while this template is downloading. So we can see DOM0 is updating, and then I'll start with the template updates. So it's just about done. There we go. Yes, they've all transferred to the DOM0. The DOM0 update is a little interesting because the DOM0 doesn't really have any network connection. So DOM0 has to ask sysfirewall for the actions in order to update it. And basically, yep, there we go, all done. So now I can start with the template updates. I don't expect, CentOS 7 to have anything real for an update, but we'll run it anyhow. I am only running CentOS 7 in some specific situations where that's what I need. CentOS 7 is a community template. I don't know if they're going to do support some of the other CentOS forks now that CentOS has changed its destiny, like Alma Linux, and I forget what the other one is. But for right now, I have a special purpose I need to use CentOS 7 for, and I'm just going to leave it CentOS 7, and I just am careful with what I use it for. So, yeah, as we see, checking its updates. CentOS 7 in Qubes is a community-supported template. It does have a few. Probably all of them are Firefox driven. And Thunderbird. Yeah. So we see those templates getting updated. That template getting updated with a new Firefox, a new XE, and a new Thunderbird, and DKMS. This one shouldn't take long, so I'm just going to let it run while I talk for a second. So next will be the Debian 11 template. I only have 8 gigabytes in this machine, so I'm kind of careful about what I run simultaneously. It's okay, but I really do have to watch that I don't overload the memory and force it into swapping. There we go. So downloaded the 5 updates, and it is installing into the CentOS 7 template. Yep. And like I said, you know, this is something I've seen quite a bit of. You try and download a template with the Qubes DOM0 update command, and it'll fail 5 times. But eventually it gets through. And on my good machine, it's the same thing. It's not because this is an older, slower laptop. So now we should see the CentOS 7, since it's updated, it should shut down. Thinking, some more. Come on, shut down. Yep, there we go. Has shut down. Again, this is an older, slower laptop with only 8 gigabytes of memory. So we have to tolerate a little bit of slowness out of it. And I've restarted the template download. Like I said, I've had it take 5 tries before it got all the way through. Just seems to be the way it works, the way it's fragile. Like I say, DOM0 has to talk to sys-usb or sys-firewall in order to do its file operations. I don't know if the frailty is in that connection or if the frailty is just the download of the template. So I'm again pause the video because I don't see any reason for you guys to watch water boil. And I'll come back when we have something more interesting. So Debian 11 is updated now. I'll let that close down and then shut down. And I think I can go ahead and close out the work. Where's my work? There it is. My work VM, since I'm not really using it. I'm going to go ahead and update Fedora 34. And it is marked, note it is marked with it wants updates. Let it play until it asks us if, you know, figures out what the updates are and asks us whether we want to do this. I'll let it go. Then I'll pause it while it's digesting and downloading all these pieces. And the Fedora 34 template update is done. So we'll kick off the Unix updates. Yeah, just to show that the Unix updates are running. It's got a lot of updates to do since I don't often update the Unix stuff. We'll get those done, and I'll pause it again because we're just gonna sit here and watch it download pieces. So here we go. Now we've got the Fedora 35 template installed. So now we go through and we switch out, I guess I don't need this one, do we switch out each one of these items, including the default management DVM, change their settings to change them to Fedora 35 instead of Fedora 34. So settings. This is the Fedora 34 DVM. We're going to treat that one a little bit differently. This is just a test cube. I was testing iPerf between two different VMs. And this is its second instance, Fedora 35. Personal goes to Fedora 35. Personal, I just usually run my web browser stuff in. Sysnet is running. We'll change out untrusted to be Fedora 35. Change out the vault to be Fedora 35. Change out work. Work was what we were running the browser in to be now Fedora 35. A Raspberry Pi Yocto build in this cube. Change it out to be Fedora 35. And so we're left with Fedora DVM. We got to treat that a little different. Sysnet, sysfirewall, sys-usb. So let's do the Fedora 34 DVM. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clone this cube and make a Fedora 35 DVM. So it retains all of its characteristics. Now I'm going to change its template to be Fedora 35. There we go. All right. Sysnet. All right. So sysfirewall. Shut down. Yeah, we'll let sysunix shut down because sysunix is changed to sysfirewall. And now we can change sysfirewall to be our Fedora 35 DVM that we just made. Shut down sysnet. Shut down. Shut down. Come on, baby. Shut down. There we go. All right. And we change that over to be a Fedora 35. So one thing I didn't mention before is we're going to go into the global settings and we're going to change the default Qube default template to Fedora 35, and we're going to change the default disposable template to Fedora 35 DVM. All right, so that leaves one. So the problem here is sys-usb controls my keyboard and my mouse. So we are going to do it with a small script, and I gotta get my script back up in front of my face. Just one moment. Maybe if we can get the plug out of the thing. So we're gonna do QVM shutdown sys minus wait sys USB. I'm just going to type the script right in. It's not that long. QVM prefs sys USB template Fedora 35 QVM start sys USB. So we're not going to be able to if once we shut down sys-usb, we're not going to be able to right click and do settings. So we're using the command line to accomplish the same thing. And we're doing it in basically one command line. So it shuts down sys-usb, changes sys-usb to use Fedora 35, and then starts it back up. And if all goes well, in a second or two, it will be converted to Fedora 35. Yep, display. Yep. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I wanted it to be the DVM, not the straight template. And typing more badness. Fedora 35 DVM. All right. We run this. And if all worked well, then we have our mouse and we have our keyboard. Excellent. All right, so next I'm going to reboot this thing. If you notice, the only thing that we've got left is the Fedora 34 DVM and the actual Fedora 34 template. I usually leave those hanging around for a day or two to make sure everything's okay, and then delete them. So there's the DVM and there's the template. So let's shut this down. I have no idea how this is going to affect OBS Studio, but we'll try it. We'll see if it survives. doesn't know how to activate the second monitor apparently when Qubes is booting up, which kind of makes sense. That's fine. So Qubes is booting. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Okay, there we go. Oh. And if all goes well, we should have our keyboard and our mouse and we should see sysnet running Fedora 35, sys firewall, sys-usb. Should be able to start one of our cubes that we've just started on that we've just switched over to Fedora 35. Yep. Woohoo! Should be able to get a network. All right, good enough. I can shut that down. And that's how you upgrade to a new template.